Ladies and gentlemen, hi, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. A lot happened last time. A lot of people died. And mainly, the biggest victim of our actions was our necktie. I mean, look, my neck feels empty. Okay, yeah, this is quite a cool little dangly thing, but it lacks personality, it lacks panache, it lacks all the things that we'd want in the world. But hey-ho, such is the way of combat. What a red thing there. Why is the red thing gone? There we are. What are you? Ouch, that leg hurts. Maybe if you don't run, it'll be okay. Okay, maybe we should walk for a little bit. But yeah, the last thing that Kim suggested was that we re-look into Classier's old apartment. As, I mean, we're kind of lost for leads now. Because lots of people are dead. So I can't remember if we went to look through the window again. Let's have a look through the window.
Two neon-lit shapes. A man and a woman having sex. A ray of backward motion explodes from his mouth to the roof outside. A prime. To then widen into a radius of locations in Martinez. B prime. B double prime. And B triple prime.
So what is the point of origin, damn it?
It's not the roof. And you would have found it had it been on the coast. In either B prime or B double prime. Which leaves the island in the bay.
I think the shot might have come from the islet.
It's not impossible. There is a narrow opening between the commercial area and the collapsed tenement north of it.
This is also the only point of origin we haven't ruled out yet.
So it is.
For a second he seems tired.
You seem unenthusiastic.
I just haven't gotten a lot of sleep these past few days.
He doesn't really believe this will yield anything.
Maybe we need to go to the island. Lieutenant sighs, looking into the cold distance across the waters. He must be... to be fair, it's quite a traumatic thing everyone's been through as well. Normally after this kind of situation, I imagine you'd get some different police officers to have a look at things, just because these guys must be absolutely knackered. I'm going to the island. Are you in?
Of course. I'm in.
He takes a second to gather himself, then says,
How do we get there? Joyce Messier had a sloop, but she's gone.
Maybe someone in the fishing village can help. The clump of houses on the coast.
Maybe. There were boats there. We should ask around. Let's go.
And we'll blink. Okay, so we've got a place to go, at the very least. An island that we have yet to explore. Which is quite exciting. Kind of concerned about what the situation downstairs looks like. As I imagine there'll be lots of people in mourning and upset about what's gone on. We have been out of it for a couple of days. Let's see how Gart's doing.
Oh, you're up. It's good to see you back on your feet. Did you like your room? I cleaned it for you.
I did, thank you. Big improvement.
You're welcome. I thought it would be nice for you to wake up in a clean place after you, let's be fair, defended this establishment and its clientele from gunfire. I give credit where credit is due, and that was a crazy move. Crazy effective. Petroleum bomb. Never seen anything like that. I was there until it struck him. Crawled inside then. Bullets started flying. Anyway.
He clears his throat.
I wish you a quick recovery. Also, you and your partner are staying here free now. This establishment supports cops. The stay is free, the drinks are not. It just felt I needed to specify that.
Oh, come on, give us a free drink on the house, Gart. Oh, no, sorry, we're clean from alcohol. We're being good boys. Where did everyone go?
Oh, you know, people don't tend to stick around after shootouts. Turns out they're not good for business.
What happened to the man with the sunglasses?
I don't remember everyone who comes here, and many people wear sunglasses inside lately. Must be a fad.
I'll never understand the sunglasses wearing indoors. Okay, so I have to mention, when it happened, you were right out there on the balcony.
Yeah, I was, yeah. That's because I'm a badass.
Yeah, I guess you are a badass.
Yeah, I don't know. Clients were panicking. And also, I guess I sort of found out that I don't give a shit if I die.
Aw.
He means it. It's not just boasting. It's something he discovered about himself. Stepping onto that balcony.
Well, I care if you die, Gart. Anyway, alright, thanks.
No problem.
And goodbye. Well, crazy stuff. Oh, let's talk to the boys after they lose a couple of their number.
You approach. The bruised man raises his bear in welcome.
Crazy motherfucker. Didn't think you had that fury in you, but I guess I've misjudged a lot of people lately. There I was, thinking, where are we gonna find a tin opener large enough for those cans? Then Capo Loco shows up and just sets a man on fire. Impressive shit, Copper. None of us would be breathing right now if it wasn't for... I guess what I'm trying to say here is, thank you.
This is big. It's as big of a thank you as Titus Hardy can muster under any circumstances.
No, it's the most praise anyone could ever hope for setting a man on fire. Shake it. No need to thank me, just doing my... Oh, no, we'll shake us on a nod in silence. We'll be gracious in our acceptance.
Now, how can I help you?
Oh, well, I'm sorry about the people you lost.
Dio was old. I think he'd be pretty happy with the way he went. Never could imagine him withering away on a sickbed. But Angus, he was just a stupid kid. Didn't realize the mess he'd gotten into. Trusted me. Still, the balls on that kid. Went down fighting for someone else's shit like a fat, angry bear.
Here it comes. The last one is the worst one. He only deals with it by drinking copious amounts of 8% beer. An honest tactic, and effective.
And Glenn was my friend. Best I've ever had. I'd love that crazy homo like my own brother. We're all fucked without him. But what do? This job is shit.
Oh, that's so sad. Yeah. No, I imagine losing a friend in a gunfight, of all things. Probably not great for the old morale. They were good people. I'm sorry it went like that.
Well, yeah. Memento mori. Right.
And what does that mean?
It means you might die tomorrow. So live every day like it's your last. Ain't that right, fellas?
Absolutely. Today, I'm going to get drunk, eat good food, and bed a good-looking girl. 'Cause tomorrow, a motor carriage might run me over.
Or you might die of a heart failure. Or syphilis.
Hey, fuck you for ruining a beautiful idea.
Always got to watch out for that syphilis. What's going to happen to the Hardy Boys now?
I guess I'll take a closer look at our union members. There's bound to be some ambitious fellows there who'd love nothing more than advancing social democracy by busting some heads. Might even ask Tibbs if he's tired of replacing windows and maybe wants to have some fun with his brother. Anyway, don't you worry. As long as Titus Hardy's standing, there will be Hardy Boys.
Well, a bit rough around the edges, but they ended up being good guys, I suppose. So long, fellows. Be good so I don't have to come back here again.
Take care, coppers. You two look after yourselves now. Death passed on you today, but men don't get that lucky twice.
Copo Loco. And normal cop, I guess. Good luck in Shamrock. Scars made the best tattoos, they say.
Thanks for getting involved, guys. Not a lot of cops would step into that line of fire, but you did.
And if you ever feel like the uniform is holding you back, I've got a few vacancies. You'd make one Hardy Boy, Copper.
And Titus Hardy himself would make a good officer. That man was born to lead.
The RCM could really use a man like you, Titus. Think about it.
I will, Capo. That's a promise. Now scoot, 'cause the Hardy Boys got some mourning and drinking to do.
Take it easy on the drink. The danger has not passed. This town needs you on your feet.
Good point, Beano Claude. We'll keep the vol under 12% tonight.
There we go. Moderate morning drinking. What else could you realistically want? But no, yeah, that's a good set of lads, I feel. Ooh, what are you? Je serai directeur. Something ridiculous in French. Please, game, pronounce it for me.
The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Skull.
Looks like Cindy the Skull finally found the words for a masterpiece.
The lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger.
Looks like it, yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday.
I smell heavy fuel oil.
And blood. Some of it is even yours.
Ah, quite grim.
Heavy fuel oil. Isn't that flammable?
What are you trying to imply, Fingers?
You could buy some smokes, light up a ciggy and throw it in there. You know, just to see what happens. See if it's flammable. It's better that way. Safer.
Why would we want to set this on fire? Although, would the burning of it... permanently mark this ground as here is where the battle happened. Do we have cigarettes? I don't believe we do. Do we have cigarettes? No, we don't. Shall we? Go on, let's be brave. Let's be bold and brash. Let's actually do something fun for once and start a fire. May as well, just for good measure. We've got some money. And let's be honest, we're getting to the end game now, so not sure what else we can spend our money on.
Is this about the question?
Nope, I don't want to buy stuff from you. Is it from this place?
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles.
None of those are... Oh, cigarette box up here.
A colourful the bottles wink at you there,
blah, blah, blah.
in that dark green glass. All in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine, alcohol, beer, alcohol, love, alcohol.
Absolutely not. This is not a good place for recovering addicts.
Guess not, no.
And she looks at the wall of goods behind her, then just a hat.
Good thing you're an unrecovering alcoholic then.
No, now is not the
I'm
time.
obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Don't ask, don't look, don't do anything here. Just go away. Get back to work.
Okay, what we want is we want a packet of...
Here
There we
you
go,
go,
cigarettes.
mister.
Thank you. May as well also do our recycling while we're here.
The tear machine your bottles clunk.
Look at that, 60 pence. Ah. Saving the world. One bottle at a time. And not by drinking it neither. Alright. Starting fires, that's what we do now. Survived a gunshot.
Graffito
That's
has
what we
been
do.
This was Cindy the
Step out, Lieutenant. Set the graffiti on fire with a lit cigarette.
The fuel oil catches fire immediately with a low hiss. A bright orange flash across the surface of the lettering. Rain turns to vapor above the burning message, mingling with the black smoke.
Say nothing. Stare grimly into the flames.
The lieutenant has taken a small step back. He looks at your face illuminated by the flames and nods silently. Then the fire falters. The flames warmed him too. Not at all in a bad way.
Let's go to that island.
Slowly, the flame...
Alright. There we go. We started a fire. What about you, young man? How have you been keeping up with this war with guns and petrol bombs?
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man? Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Oh, where is Renee?
The prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But he's really gone.
Gone. Gone where?
Hell, most likely. He was an absolute cunt.
I mean, he wasn't pleasant, was he? What? Was he killed during the military tribunal?
Oh, he would have liked that. Violent lives ending violently. That's how he wanted to go. Sadly, it was not the case.
How did he die exactly?
His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but he just had to prove how tough he is.
Wait, did he push himself to prove he can pull his weight and doesn't need handouts?
Yes, he was about to head home. 'Cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, 'cause he's gonna be buried without it.
Oh, do you think our conversation about his job pushed him to go out there?
No. René was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever push him to do anything. The man was completely immovable.
He has doubts, but right now, he just wants to move on and not think about it.
Was he really that bad?
I repeat, an absolute cunt. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old viper. The only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding on to.
Did you love him?
We've hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that...
He falls silent and looks at you, eyes filling up with tears.
Yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were?
Tell me.
In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a cunt, and he died a cunt. Let's leave it at that.
Jesus, that's quite a twist of emotions, because when he was alive, he seems to be quite happy with him being around. Yeah. Here, something to remember your friend by. Give him the photograph of René and the girl.
Let me see. This was 60 years ago. We all went to that parade. Young René looked so happy, and Jenny...
Eyes blurry with tears, he has to stop.
I'm sorry, officer. I just... Thank you. Thank you for this little memorabilia. It really means the world to me.
That was nice. A small thing for us, but invaluable to him. He probably didn't even know René had the photo.
Ah. I do have to say that power photo is very important. If you've got friends and got loved ones, take photos. I'm one of those people that never take photos of myself or of anything going around me. But photos are nice. Take more photos of your friends and loved ones. For the love of God. I offer my sincere condolences.
Yes. We are both very sorry for your loss.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone. I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something.
Well, it's too bad René's gone. I was hoping to ask him about the Maybells. I'll hold out the flowers.
René wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer. And believe me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
Why didn't he like them?
There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communals. They called them the bells of revolution.
Sad smile passes his face.
I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinde. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. It doesn't really matter anymore.
But you feel the dried flower in your hand somehow still does matter, although not to this sad old man.
I want to go over a few more things about René, if that's okay.
Yes? What about René?
If the flowers mean something, then... Surely, do you know what happened to his medals?
I took them for myself. Took them to remember that old cunt. Nobody knew him better than I did. And I want to remember that old cunt by something.
Strange how old cunt sounds almost gentle when he says it now.
Okay. Alright, well, again, officer, my sincere condolences.
Yes. It is what I just don't
blah,
know
blah,
anymore.
blah. And goodbye. Alright. Well, that's sad. Everyone's dead. Everyone's dying. Can I run? I can run. No major problems there. We're going all the way to the fishing village. I don't want to walk there, Christ. But yeah, with what that man said about scars make the best tattoos, I hope that my surgery scar is really cool. Not the coolest place though, sadly. Not like one of those singular scars that go across your eye and the eyebrow. Like a stereotypical Rambo-esque soldier. Alright lady, do you have a boat for us? Or at least a way of transporting us to the island.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
She sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for falling and hurting your knee.
Ah, much worse than that. I got shot in the foot. It was pretty badass. You would have liked it.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You didn't only get shot.
Oh, I dodged the second shot. I can also not get shot.
Well, good for you.
You should have seen the other guys. They're all dead.
So you're a killer. That's good, I guess. Better than being dead.
I'm not a killer. I'm a cop.
Hi. I guess you are. I understand that's how it goes.
Damn right. Oh, that I was meant to appear a lot more cooler, but with nah. Oh well. I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
Oh, it's no chance of us going on a date. We need to get to that island. Point to it.
That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tide just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
Can we borrow your boat?
If you promise to bring it back. And no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow. And no drinking on the boat. And no joyriding either.
God, what a bore.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye.
Okay, nod along, alternatively.
The crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you.
Alright, well thank you. We'll use your skiff to get there then.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Alrighty, Roo then. We'll be fine. Alright, get us on that boat. Time to get nautical. Oh, it's not that boat. So another boat. Too many boats. There you are. Let's get on, yeah.
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its 2 seats are empty. Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the bay. A strange trepidation comes over you. Are you sure you want to go now? Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts? Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
So this is basically the game is saying that once we move on, we won't be coming back to the main island or the mainland or anything. And I think we could go around and do every single quest, but I'm more of a main story kind of guy. I think we've explored a lot of the world of Revachol, and we've seen some good stories. I mean, we've met Kuno's dad. We've attempted to fix a church. We've got some Dungeons and Dragons dice. Done loads of things. So let's, you take the engine, Kim. I'll hold the boombox.
What?
What's what? How else do we blad Sad FM on the way to the island?
Fine. Let's blast Sad FM then.
Damn
Sad
right.
FM is a radio station specializing in sad, slow rock songs. You seem to know its frequency by heart.
Get in and ride to the island. What a better way to travel.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last and the trees are green and overhanging, where the light free and everlasting. And the trees are green and overhanging, where the light free and everlasting. Want to be free.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then there's silence. In the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in the distance. Let's go.
Climb out. Well, just in case you forgot that the game's meant to be really sad there, Jesus. After all that praise, and all that well done, don't forget you're still an alcoholic. Or a recovering one at least. Makeshift bridge, the bombs were powerful enough to break the foundation. And the rusty chain trails off into the ocean.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
Point to it. This leads to the depot on the island's end.
Ah, yes, so it seems.
What do you think it was used for?
For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain.
As a defensive measure, locking off that side of the bay.
This means I sorta got into the depot door.
Technically, no, it doesn't.
Oh.
He's right.
Fine. Fine. Because not all doors are meant to be open. That's fair enough. Attention, inflammable. Some fuel has leaked from the barrel. Black viscous. There's a lingering trace of mazut in the air. Do love the music for this section of the game. Sad yet hopeful.
The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea.
What is that flutter?
The flock of quail departs. Now more than 100 meters away. 102, 105.
Underneath the flutter.
On the islet, there is almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline. Long dried leaves chafing against each other. Like a silent orchestra tuning at the beginning of some major work.
To the west.
A silent hiss. Sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree.
To the east.
The faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand, The low tide filtered through its grains, a bird tending to its feathers.
Ahead.
A low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, hollow. A big building.
Beyond that, further north.
Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless.
Below the silence.
A jitter. A sound impatient to happen, but not yet in this world. You hear some kind of limb fidget, producing an imperceptible tick.
And Kim.
Yes?
Momentarily, the sounds are swept away. Pain shoots up your right foot and into your groin.
Have you noticed how quiet it is?
I have. Is that why we're stopping?
Wait. I have to listen to one more thing.
The lieutenant nods.
Oh, no, never mind.
Silence.
Open your eyes, stop listening. Have you done this bullshit thing again where... Oh, hold on a second. There we go, fixed it. Jesus, I've never seen that bug before, and then it's happened twice in this playthrough. Okay, the barrel says ICM. You see a little star with specks on it.
ICM? This feels familiar somehow.
Kim, what is the ICM?
Insulindian Citizens Militia. It's the official name of the Communards Army. The Black and White Army of the Revolution.
Sounds an awful lot like.
RCM. It sounds a lot like RCM, Revachol Citizens Militia.
It does.
Why?
The RCM may descend from the ICM.
May?
It's impossible to say. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people to join us. Revachol West was mostly workers and criminals.
Nice political thoughts rush through your neocortex. It's going to be hard to say them. Carrying around all that weight on a busted crutch is making you pant.
Ah. Oh no, we're trying to be political again. What do we do? ICM sounds like ICP, very close to the International Collaboration Police. Nice and normal that way.
That's just a coincidence, officer. The co-mail was founded in 32.
He bows his head to inspect the barrel. Excellent, so we've avoided all the political stuff. It looks old, what's it still doing here?
After 44 years? That's not nearly enough to hide what happened here, Lieutenant Gefreiter. One of these barrels was still leaking fuel, as you saw. The city is full of things like this. Old bullets, guns, fuel.
Fair enough. No need to talk too much about the communist barrel. Let's go inside here, see what's what. Oh, it's like a mechanic shop? Somewhere where you would build engines or something? I'm not a mechanic myself, I've got no idea.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Where do the wires lead?
Downstairs, somewhere?
And what kind of generator is this?
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout.
He points to the open fuel cap on the side of the dynamo.
The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Tap on the side.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
And what does this mean, a generator here?
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
I mean, why is it here?
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Which that must mean that there's someone living on this island, or at least here enough to want this room to be warm. Pour fuel into the tank.
The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch.
Pull the rope.
The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Alright, there we go. Got heating, which is a rarity in these trying times. What have we got? Books, mostly fantastique and historical fiction. Dishes stained with sauce and fire, a survivor's kitchen. There's a bed.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft-cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
How recently?
A flash of pain interrupts you, making you wince instead of letting the words out.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
Oh, we could go to sleep. Oh, fab. Well, I mean, if we are injured, and we have been running, to be fair, let's maybe a little shut-eye, just an hour.
You face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there.
Curl up with your knees close to your chest.
The blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour, maybe. The sounds of the sea beyond grow distant. Your eyelids close. Until
you
feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening.
Oh, Jesus, have we slept in? It's only meant to be for an hour. God, where's everyone gone? Kim promised he would stay. Oh, we can't interact with anything anymore. The lieutenant is no longer here. Go outside to the beach. Alright, game. No need to railroad me. I assume this is not the door, is it? The door is still here, closed. Feels strange somehow. You can't get in. Alright then. There's a door down here. There's a door down here. And where is this leading us? Go this way? Go this way. Go down to the chain. There is something there. The what chain? I can't see no chain, game. My skills of knowing where... Ah, the chain. This chain. Walk into the water now. Can we swim? Are the swimming mechanics? Oh no, we've just become Jesus. You see her footprints on the water. Oh, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all. Further. Oh dear.
Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state turns around to face you. She has an airship airbag in her hand. She seems to be in a hurry. Off to advise the Queen of Shest, most likely. This is the Holy Suzerain of Mwindi and Insulinda. Definitely not your wife. You need to talk to her. Think of the historical knowledge you could glean.
Right, so she's definitely not our wife. What else you said to Dolores Day apart from hey?
Hey.
How are you? Oh, well, let's be cheeky. Hey, that's all I get. Give him a smile.
I mean, hey to you too?
She says apprehensively. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, actually. Both professionally and romantically. I've come to a fulfilling and peaceful period in my life. Well, how are you doing, Harry?
Oh, no. She's not Dolores Day. She's our ex. Ah, seeing our exes in our dreams are never great. I'm in my head. I miss you.
Well, I'm in my head too. We're all in our heads.
Do you miss me in there?
Sometimes. Not as often as I used to. So much time has passed. More than it seems here.
He stares at her feet, the zebra stripes on the intersection, the lights of the video rental glow in her hair.
This is everything I always warned you about.
Never mind now, Inland Empire, we're going to be sad. May as well make the most of it. Where are you going?
I'm going to Morova. To live there, in Grad. It's 1 million kilometers away, Harry. Might as well be another lifetime.
And what's in the bag?
Just my scepter, my globe cruciger, a spare silk gown, a toothbrush, travel documents, the crown of immortality.
Crown of Immortality? Aren't you already wearing one?
Oh, this.
She corrects the wreath on her forehead.
This is just a wreath. The crown of immortality is made of rarefied light, mana and raw palladium. It was passed on to me by the rulers of late antiquity.
She looks at the suitcase, not knowing what more to say. Then, over her shoulder, silence. Her nuptial gown flows in the wind, wraps around her holy body.
Anyway.
Let's not talk about skin, shall we? Can you stay for a moment? We need to talk. We need to have one more massive epic shirt. Go on then.
No, Harry. No. I don't want a massive epic showdown. I want to go to the aerodrome. I have tickets for the 10:20 flight to Morova. Really.
Come on, can't we sort things out?
We don't have anything to talk about anymore. Every combination of words has been played out. The atoms don't form us anymore. Us. Our love. Our unborn daughters. It's all gone. I have to go to the aerodrome. I have to leave Revachol and you. And you have to be alone. In hell. Forever. That's just the way it is.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Whatever you do, don't try to kiss her yet. Not after that. You're still reeling. You'll fall over if you try it now.
God. Alone in hell, that's... We're trying to get out of hell. That's what this whole journey's been. We've been making good choices. But that's not a very good way for things to be.
It's not. But...
She looks at her feet. Little golden sandals cover her toes. But what? Tell me there's something good.
I don't know why I said but. There is no but.
That's it?
That's it, yes. We've talked about it 1,000,000 times. You will get over it. Just like I did. People do. Things will get good for you again.
Where in hell? Stop. You're only making it worse for him. You never help with anything.
Well, she says things get better for everyone. It's... No, it doesn't. Not for everyone. Maybe. I think I've reached the end of the investigation.
See? It just takes some time. For you, I think it'll take something like 20 years, maybe. It was hard for me, too. I used to think I couldn't live without you.
She looks you straight in the eye. Her irises are light blue, flecked with green.
But I can.
God, I hope it's not 20 years. So you felt that way once, that you cannot live without me?
Yes. But that time is gone now. So very gone.
In 20 years, that's so much time.
Yes. It only took me 1 year, maybe 2. Phew.
Well, I'm glad that you're moving on so quickly. Doesn't have to be like this. Maybe we could try again.
No, Harry. We can't.
Why?
We already tried again, and it didn't work.
Is that how it is now? We should just try all good things twice, and then give up. By that logic, not you too.
We're going down a dark path here, boys and girls. But let's just see if we can fix Harry's broken marriage. Well, not marriage. Don't even know if they were married. But... let's try inventing the future twice, and if it doesn't work, abandon it and live on welfare. Is that how we should do everything? What went wrong when we tried again? I could do it better.
I don't know. Please.
She shuffles from one golden sandaled foot to the other. In the distance, a streetcar screeches. Why can't we be together?
Harry, we can't be together because you're insane.
Her eyes turn to sorrowful ovals.
She avoids turning them to you.
I'm not insane, don't say that.
They're turning moist now. Her eyes. She slowly shakes her head and tries to get a hold of herself, brushing her hands in her gown.
What do you mean by insane?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, to be honest, by the sound of it, we were quite mental. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a cop. It's not easy work, like some kind of academy or something.
A cop? You've worked there for so long you can't even talk like a normal person anymore. It's always lists with you. Questions.
Questions? Did someone say questions?
Ooh, now we can interview her. They're not lists, they're trees.
This is another one, isn't it? We're in a tree right now.
Oh my god, we are. We're metagaming. Lists are absolutely normal. Everyone has them. You just list everything you want to ask.
It's not just the lists or trees or whatever. You get sad, Harry. Too sad. People can't get that sad. It's impossible to watch. Other people get sad too, but not like you. You stay down for too long. Until you start giving your thoughts names and talking to things. In conclusion, you're ill. You're an old, insane man. And you have to be in hell until the end of your life. And I have to go to Morova.
No, we don't need to go to hell. We're getting better. We've improved so many things, and okay, maybe we haven't improved the lives of everyone, but we've certainly tried. That's got to mean something, surely. I bought you this figure of a headless Fallen rider.
I don't want it. It looks expensive. I don't want it.
No, I thought you liked figurines. I thought the figurines were for getting. Nah, that sounds desperate. Okay.
Please don't give me any gifts.
I just don't want to sound desperate. But then again, I also don't want to kiss her because, like, forcing yourself on anyone, that's a terrible idea. She clearly doesn't want it. So I don't think we're not even going to consider that option. Don't go.
I have to, Harry. Really, I've already missed the 8:30. I'm gonna go now.
I was wrong. You don't have power over her anymore. You shouldn't have said that. I am wrong about everything. You should go on without me.
No authority. First of all, you didn't. That's not what you've written there, but don't worry about authority. Got you covered. Hold on. What is there to do in Morova?
Light, life, culture. It's so much better than here. Everything here reminds me of you and the horrible times we had. The nights we stayed up fighting for our dying love. I have to wipe it all off me and be clean again. I want to be a good person again. Not this. Not what you made me into.
But I swore I wouldn't let you go. You told me. You asked me to be this way.
That was someone else. I betrayed her, overwrote her, and I'm happier for it. And I'm really going now. The time is up. I must be on the 10:20 flight.
She turns. Will we ever see each other again?
I won't see you, but you will see me.
How can that be?
Oh, Harry. This is a dream. Can't you see? I'm already in Morova by now. Who knows how long ago this happened? A year? 2? 5 years ago?
And how will I see you again then?
Right here, tomorrow night. Once this dream starts happening, it keeps happening. 3 times a week, at least. And Harry, it really, really looks like it started happening again. There's the video rental. I'm suffocatingly beautiful. And young. and I smell of tutti frutti chewing gum, like I did that time when I asked you for forgiveness, after leaving you the first time, so long ago.
But this is intolerably bad.
Oh yes, this is real darkness. It's not death or war or child molestation. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart, Harry.
Now that is a powerful line. When I first played this game, that's the one line I remembered. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart. And yeah, I think I mentioned it before in a previous video in this playthrough. Well, I think that I've been in quite a similar situation where I was with someone who I very much liked and kind of chose a life of drink and nefarious shenanigans instead of something or someone good for me, like I imagine this lady would have been for Harry. And the whole you see us in your dreams, you see it 3 times a week. That's a real thing, man. That is a real thing. That is regret, but like a deep kind of regret. The regret that even though you know that you've moved on and you've improved your life and you've made good choices in life, you're still carrying it on. And even though no matter how many times you say it and talk to people about it and improve yourself, it's still there, man. It's still there.
See you tomorrow.
Damn, that's hard. That's hard. All right, let's back into the waking world.
You're up quick. How was your sleep?
Let's go. Swallow the blood and conclude. Let's comb the entire island, centimetre by centimetre. That's the next step in the task chain.
Okay.
He replies simply.
He's still worried. You must have really thrashed and squealed in your sleep.
Let's not worry, Kim, about our problems. We've got real things to be doing.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Sift through them.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures. Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
The lieutenant inspects a soft cover. Does anything stand out as unusual?
Oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory, that is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly like reading.
Look, Kim, a book, left wing. I have no comments, do you?
Ouzia. Humanitarian sciences. Stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Ravachol West anymore.
Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him.
Critical theory books, what do you think this means?
Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interests.
Interesting.
Alright, fair enough. Someone here likes to read. Oh, I've got a foul shirt. What do? You have hand-eye coordination. Nah. I like our shirt. Our shirt's cool. We do have a scarf there. Ooh, empathy. I want to empathise with people. Let's be empathetic. It is quite cold outside as well. So let's do that. Now, what's inside of you? Drugs, nice. Money and more drugs. What's through you?
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
How do we open this?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
It looks at the door, then its bigger brother, then at the lock.
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
No, this isn't one more door, we're opening it.
Alright, I retract my statement. It was naive. Let's look around and get it open.
Alright, let's do it. I'm not going to be defeated by any more doors. Rule number 1.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
What is this then?
The console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Could this open the blast door?
I think, yes. Let's see.
Turn
That one.
emergency
The
open.
emergency.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Well, there we go. Another door slain. Oh god, does it... Come on.
After you.
Alright, let's go through. See what's on the other side. Ooh. Small white flowers blossom all around you. That's exciting. Hello, mister. What are you?
An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours, unclouded by cataracts. His eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Ah, nice gun you've got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
Is that a Belgrave?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
He pats the rifle.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
The Xiao Yao commune?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, wiped from the board.
His gaze turns inward. Your weapon stays true to you. Mine has stayed true to me too. Your hand on your belt.
Yes. I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
His grip on the rifle tightens.
We have come to ask you questions. Nothing more.
The lieutenant puts his hand on his holster.
If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
Another spitball lands in the ashes. That's all the answer he gives. Sir, I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. We're with the police.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
Oh, Jesus, this is an escalation.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
Let's give this a go. Kim turns to the lieutenant.
The lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's forehead.
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
The old man lays the rifle down, carelessly, then looks at it lying there. Pick up the gun lying in the sand.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect it closer.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46 millimeter, made in Sinyao.
It's as he said, a triagon, made in Sinsao.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a triangon, too.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
Oh, so this guy is using a weapon that matches the bullet that we found. Start the gun and conclude.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
What have you been using this gun for?
No reply. His leg twitches.
Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turned to the reeds again, dead and dull.
The Commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
And how long have you been on this island?
43 years. No. I've been on other islands too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
And you said that you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
A lapse of faith?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took.
For what?
For reaction to take hold.
What's reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
And when was this exactly?
May the 13th, 08. 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
That's enough. Another thing.
It's not enough. The total combined power of international capital, all their fear and terror, tore into Revachol. Streets rose from the ground. Houses turned to ghosts.
He gestures erratically and falls silent. So he sounds like a person who believes in the whole communist revolution stuff, then didn't end up fighting the war, and now feels bitter at himself for not fighting in the war, everyone else for either dying or taking part in the war, and like everything. This man's just pure hate, I suppose. How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
That's a choice. You could have become self-employed, created the system.
You're insane and grotesque. Everyone steals. Vegetables, supplies. It's the life of a dog.
He coughs once more, then puts his hand on his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
TRCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
And how have you coped mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll into the back of his skull.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
Well, I suppose I also live in hell.
At least you know it. The traders of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s, after the fighting stopped. Ruins, glittering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How have you concealed yourself for all these years?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
The weapons cache under St. Griselaine, whatever, 22B. In the basement, have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights, ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed themselves?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
It sounds like he's almost like a direct opposite of what we are. Because obviously, I mean, we've maybe not at the best time, but in this playthrough we've tried to make things better and make good choices. This guy, bad things have happened, and he's just gone out of his way to live in those bad things. Tell me another thing.
The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
We're in the RCM. Let's leave it at that.
Let's. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans le Monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks out into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
So you're a communist soldier from the communist army?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained and assigned to the Defense Corps.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
And what does a political commissar do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
The lieutenant says softly.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Ooh, night philosopher. That's Plato, Aristotle. That's where the idea comes from, I think.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
That means you're a trained communist, right?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
I'm a moralist.
No, you're not. You're part of the meat shield. The human shield that surrounds the fascists while they kill and rape. That's what you are.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology.
He then turns to the old man.
We have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more.
Again, you've been hiding there for 43 years.
43 years and 10 months.
I don't even know what that is.
It's inhuman. It's sick. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
We didn't need to forget, but you've got to move on.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects a series of burnt black letters splashed across the plaza mosaic. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smoldering. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Oh, is that the translation for the French wedding we saw outside the Whirling in Rags?
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore back to you. For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Oh no, he's also having woman problems. I come from there. I can assure you that it's not what people are planning.
I am not a fool. I know. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, Whatever I do.
Well, that's nihilistic. I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
One more time. What have you used the gun for?
What have I used it for? I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
what?
This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Going straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Okay then, let's try and get personal. I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
Damn it, suggestion.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Alright then. Fair enough. Suggestion. I'll keep that in mind now. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor? Oh no, you didn't do that. So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped?
What did I just say?
He keeps shaking his head, erratically sudden. He brushes something out of his eye.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Shit, we're getting it all wrong. Use the gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Crenell.
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ear.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Well, I'm glad that I made the right choice after 3 attempts. The corpse in ceramic armor, hanging behind the well in rags. Did you shoot him?
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
The lieutenant takes a sudden step towards him.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. And show him the gun.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons, eh? Going against automatic rifles with a flame bomb. Of course you got all those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good.
Lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and twitches once more. Come on, what am I forgetting? Hit yourself on the side of the head.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you.
You got it. Remember? The boot prints were like no modern soul. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you. Try to stimulate thought processes by hitting yourself.
Officer, a word?
He gestures to talk to you on the side. Excuse me for a moment, Mr. Dross.
I think we may have this.
Lieutenant whispers, then gives the suspect a short glance. You think he did it?
From nothing to this in a day. This is good, Lieutenant Gefreiter. We just need a confession first, and then maybe a solid motive later.
How do you think the questioning is going?
Good. We are doing very good. He wants to confess, I can see that. We just need to pile it on a little more. The more we have on him, the closer he is.
What am I missing? What haven't I done?
Ballistics. Let him cook here for a minute or two. We can have another look around the island for a sniper's nest. I think we should check out the post.
Okay, let's do this.
Remember, he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything.
There is palpable excitement in his tone. He likes him for this. A lot. But there's something more, too.
Alright, so if we can find a sniper nest, that would be quite a useful thing. After all, I mean, realistically, he's definitely done the murder, hasn't he? He's got the weapon. He's in the only remaining spot where a shot can be made. We just need a confession. Which is simple enough. Anywhere around... Where would a bunker be? Is there a way up here? We didn't see a bunker on the way in our dreams, did we? The pain in your pelvis makes you wince, then you continue. Now uphill. There's a thing. With a fuel canister. That's nice. Old medicine cabinet newly stocked with Dramamine. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates in the Bay of Revachol. What are you?
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
Lieutenant looks around. He steps close with his hand on the gun. Inspect the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Touch the concrete
Quite
first.
old and grimy, from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look through the hole in the concrete.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation. A tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
On the left.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 33A and 33B.
And on the right.
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
And between the two.
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop. Sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
Motherfucker.
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window?
More than that.
Kim, with a pair of binoculars, I would be able to see inside the room.
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
Kim, I could make it. I could make the shot.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
Finally.
In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
You're right.
He looks north, over the fortification, then at the mattress. He's conflicted for a second. There's guilt there. It takes him a moment to rationalize it away.
No, I get that. If we were able to figure it out sooner, less people would have had to die. But such is the way of things. Shit, where am I going? This is how the cargo ships' signal horns echo on the water. Yeah, I suppose that's another difficult thing about police work and other work like this. We could have saved people's lives from making different choices. But how were you supposed to make a different choice? How were you indeed? Alright then, mister, we've got your goose cooked.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
One more time, Colonel. We need to talk about you killing him.
Petty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
A drop of blood in the saliva.
There were maybells behind the victim's window. Show him the dry flower.
Damn maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly, nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too? The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen his flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
A young woman called Classier. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window.
Classier.
You know her, right? She had an intimate relationship with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim?
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaws twitch and spasm. I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa?
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Douglas.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is 42 to 44. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Lieutenant comes to the same conclusion. Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. Doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood.
I mean, yeah, he was a rapist. He wasn't a good man. But he was a soldier too. He was a man.
Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
Just nod.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
Single word is all he gives.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
You pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
And what specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. Writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have a skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
What did you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
Some kind of hidden container on the coast. You looked into it.
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy, we should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean...
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks. And a body hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
You could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
He shakes his silver grey hair. How does he know the minute... Oh, sorry. How does he know those minutes detail... Sorry. How does he know those minute details about her body?
He must have climbed to the roof, maybe.
How did he get close enough to see her bruises, Mr. Dross?
I have my ways.
A cracked smile appears on his dried white lips.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
Thank God, the lieutenant is picking it up.
But that nook too?
Lieutenant does not let you finish.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
He keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points towards the whirling in rags.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Did you have feelings for that woman?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Why was it you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
So he does have some sort of morality there. It does feel bad, which is a small thing, I guess. When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
You wanted to console her.
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eye.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes. Then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
So it's kind of like... Originally he was a... How would one say? Like a... communist revolutionary, part of the military... Well, a political commissar, shall we say. Was bitter about all the things, didn't really have a good life. And then, when he sees her having fun, jealousy and all the things he could have had in the form of a lady, and he couldn't handle it.
That's it. Motive. We have it.
I mean, that's my summation of things anyway.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
We arrested her.
Locked up with your masters, like I'll be. Maybe we'll meet. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, like she knew. Staring at the island. The fort. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Across the water, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, made of grey cinder block houses with Eternite roofs, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
What else can we go for? Being looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
He points inland.
Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people in Martinez were very racist, and Mr. Clare did actually hire a racist that we had to eventually punch in the head. Anything more?
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals. Like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed. Well, like, where have you been living, Mr. Deserter? You've also been living in the ruins. You can't really judge anyone else. That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Sounds a bit hyperbolic then. Okay then.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, that's a thing, so is he wrong? Who knows? Just nod.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
You mentioned the Union is social democrat, and Mr. Clare is a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat, placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
Who's a disappointment? Everard Clare?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar, Everard's brother?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
You've talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash now, just shaking his head.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He points to the path leading to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
To be fair, these brothers sound a lot like some of the people I went to university with. Lots of good socialist ideals, but very little in the way of actual substance. Mr. Joss, did you kill the criminal mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
He coughs.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them. but he's insinuating something.
Disco whores
Horse.
is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. There was something about the statue at the roundabout, and syphilis.
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Okay, yeah, we get it. We don't like him. Good, now that's settled. By the cock parading in his colourful uniform, you mean Rene?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor.
Well, yeah, he was talking about race earlier, now he's just a racist. Now I'll just nod.
I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the Liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city, toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
Just gonna nod. Don't want to give him the satisfaction of knowing that Rene is dead.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
Let's definitely back off now. Calm down.
Calm down. I'm not angry. I adore him. He reminds me of everything we fought for. At least we killed that Fisetto and his kingsman.
He's overtaken by a coughing fit. Let's use logic. What was the deal between him and Edgar?
Oh no, the connection doesn't come to you on such a pivotal moment.
Damn it.
Dumbo, do something. You can't zone out now. This isn't Doodaloo dance time.
Kim, what do you think about this,
About this deal you made.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Lieutenant immediately understands what's happening and turns to the suspect.
With Edgar. The death of the colonel mercenary was only coincidentally beneficial to the Clares. But what about the other people you've killed for them?
Other people?
Like the previous 4 women of the Union.
That's it. That's what you weren't connecting yourself.
I didn't fight 40 years to end up an informant for the international regime. What happened, happened.
Still dumb. Your eyes are transfixed on his digit. It's yellow with nicotine. You are the law. He must divulge the information.
You effing killed the previous foreman. I know it.
Look who's up. From the drunken stupor. This one's worse for wear than me. And so emotional. Life is hard for us human beings in deregulation hell, isn't it?
We will have plenty of time to talk about this later, Mr. Dross. When you're in pre-detention. It can take years in pre-detention.
Go ahead. I've been in solitary confinement my whole life.
Ease off it. This was not an unmitigated disaster. The lieutenant mitigated it. Just proceed. Calmly.
Okay, I'm glad we talked about this. Now...
Glad? It's all gone.
He stares into the dust at his feet, grey and dirty spring grass all around. Let's attempt to assess his body language.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble, who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited island, he seems surprisingly fit.
That's it. Squint at him.
He's prone to erratic hand gestures and clearly malnourished. But that's it. You can see no more by looking at his slouched frame. The moment passes, and you say,
It's off, Lianovich Dross. You're under arrest for the murder of the colonel.
What?
The old man's
But you
eyes...
said I would be taken to the...
I interrupted then. But you said I would be taken to the...
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Do you understand, sir?
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting blacker and blacker.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Wait. Perception hearing.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
We could all fit in a little bit.
Actually, no.
First say, does it have room for all three?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
There's something you're not getting here that he's realizing.
But what?
Who watches over him there while I come back for you?
Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Maybe I can ask the net picker to watch him.
This is no harmless old man.
Lieutenant shakes his head.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now.
Ooh. You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
No need to be polite. I'll do it.
This world? What are you talking about? Is this... us?
The wind is cold from the east. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Ah. Oh, the Insulindian Phasmid. We found it. Blink.
It's still there. An unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that? Point to it.
What are you talking about?
The old man looks at the reeds, then to you. I don't know what the hell that is.
There's nothing there.
He looks confused.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you, with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you, and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
There is. I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
Lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant arthropod. Oh, well, this isn't surprising. Hello, Insulindian Phasmid.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
Whisper, this is the Insulindian Phasmid.
It is.
Lieutenant whispers back to you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping, slowly, painstakingly slow.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
Are you sure you won't scare it off?
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
He continues to pull the lens open.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the Phasmid's limbs, A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear,
Okay, take the picture.
with the sound of metal sliding against metal. The lieutenant reveals the lens. The glass glints in his hand as he begins to slide in an ampoule. You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. The motions are quick, sudden. Something cracks in the lieutenant. He's letting his pride get in the way.
The ampoule will produce a loud hiss. You're right. It could scare it away. I need a better moment when it's not looking.
I'll wait. I'm on standby, he thinks, his hands sweaty around the machine. The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air. Slowly.
Say something to it quietly. Something like, don't be afraid.
Nothing changes in the cyclical braying motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out. Beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not. Its insect mind is impenetrable to your reasoning.
Let's approach carefully. Looking at the pluses, we've got a +3 for Leonard's childhood experience, 1+ for your corpse, marked by the stars of 1+ the miracle, way out in the west. Wonder what all that stuff means. I know Leonard's childhood experience is the woman in the wheelchair, isn't it? But okay, approach carefully.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Whisper. Okay, Kim, take the picture.
Okay.
The slow ring of metal, Lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops on the photo paper in its hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and the sky, and you, as a shadow before it, slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. The sensation is electrifying, resounding through your body. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Look at your finger.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
Should we lick it? No. Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning!
Warning? Run your hand up the slender limb higher.
A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High above you, its black pearl eyes still glisten, mesmerized by the light passing its nervous system. There is some kind of countdown happening as it slowly processes the overwhelming brightness of the signal. The invertebrate is regaining control. The stimulus overloaded it. It's passing like an extended moment or a gallstone.
Okay, we've got it. Back off.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing. where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
Whisper, Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
Lieutenant watches you apprehensively.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
Tell me, what are you doing?
I exist.
Hi, it talks. That's useful. I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
I'm ill.
What is your illness?
It's in my heart. For me, it's sadness. Input after input.
For me, it is not like that. I have states, not emotions. For example, I experience excitement at unexpected sugar rewards. But that is not important. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
Are we understanding what it's like to be an insect? Intruded upon by what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache.
God, you're the type of animal I would like to be.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure. But why are you asking?
Sometimes, when molting, I regrow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced a missing antenna.
That's absolutely nothing, maybe.
The leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk.
You don't have a foot there now.
Yes. Thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again.
That's useful. I'm a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
The killer.
He's in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration.
You're destroying him.
Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads. But he has looked at me for too long, and I am destroying him.
Oh, is this creature's defense mechanism not only disguising themselves as reeds, but also giving people internal tumors? I don't know. Is this a dream? What is happening?
No, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
Where does this come from? All this around us, the world.
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
Then all we could do is beat our fists against it, day after day, with no answer?
You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
Suppose that's one way to look at it.
Wait, so...
So you look like a reed and you eat reeds?
Yes, they don't mind.
Have you accidentally eaten another reed phasmid?
Yes,
I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident.
Ah, eating on your own young. Well, I suppose that's what animals do, don't they? What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulandian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molting, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Samanese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51.
Well, it wasn't an accident. You just kind of stood up and revealed yourself. I wonder if you wanted to. Are you the miracle?
No. You are the miracle.
I always knew it. How?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
Wait, what is this pale?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
But I have the kind of power to destroy everything.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
How?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Oh, she's not talking about me as an individual. She's talking about humans as a whole, I think.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget?
I've already forgotten the whole world once when I drank too much.
So it is already happening. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Well, that's dark. Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
Sort of?
I think you should back away from the unstudied species now.
I have to say goodbye now. I've no more thoughts. That was all.
No, there is one more.
I mean, of all the creatures that we've met, is it beautiful? I suppose in its own way. It's beautiful. Hasn't hurt anyone. Hasn't caused any pain, unlike the other people that we've met. Apart from obviously giving this man potential cancer or another internal disease. Wasn't intentional. Okay, of all the creatures I've met, you are the most beautiful.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman. Turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. For all mankind.
That's the only way forward, isn't it? We try to get her back in our dream. But it's the way forward, isn't it? We don't want to end up like the bitter communist and live in regret. I will try.
She was hell on Earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Alright, cheers, Insulindian Phasmid. You've taught me something in life. Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
So I don't know what this means. I know that every character you mean has a certain meaning to spread from this game, but I've got no idea what the Insulindian Phasmid, apart from obviously that last bit.
And just
moving
like
on.
that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
Lieutenant looks north with his hand raised to his brow. What's that? In the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He puts his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Absolutely, but first, what's in the box? Oh, it's the helmet that guy was shooting us with. Well, he wasn't shooting us with the helmet, but he was wearing the helmet. Okay, cool. What do you want?
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Well, you were all tough talk earlier on. So how could you not see the Phasmid? He stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Doras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing, like an addict of some terrible substance.
Touch his shoulder gently.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Doras?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
Okay. He's not going to talk to us. We'll just
We
say
should
hang
think about
tight.
getting back to the mainland, to get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long.
Okay, alright, let's get this guy some medical assistance. Yeah, I'm sure that Phasmid had some sort of greater meaning, but certainly beyond my ken. Something about the end of the world. Closing your eyes, blinking and missing it. Sure, it means something to someone. If you know what it means, please do let us know in the comments. Okay, medical assistance for the Mister. That's our mission.
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Let's return to the mainland.
Let's. We are done here.
He says, adjusting his glasses as he looks out over the water.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet, but for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Alright, friends. Potential... hopefully it's not more mercenaries.
Look what the tide brought him.
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head.
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Wait, you're the man with sunglasses.
That's right. And you're bleeding.
forget about this. There's a giant...
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
He points at you with both hands. No one else seems to be bothered by the bleeding.
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstam. I believe we've met on several occasions.
Oh, you were the dude from the... mural.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Comar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us. We might need your help with something later.
Yad suddenly regaining his confidence.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
She says warmly, flashing the Lieutenant the tiniest of smiles. Oh, okay, so these are our partners? Maybe these are the people we used to work with in the precinct? What is this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
Okay, yeah, let's bring up the bullets. Where have you been all this time? That was a Master Tribunal.
God damn it, Harry.
He shifts his weight, crossing his arms, and looks you in the eye.
You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
Wait, so you let me face a squad of trained killers alone just to teach me a lesson?
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
Oh dear. I said all those things? I'm not like that anymore.
Yes. You're sorry. You're the sorriest cop who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Harry. I've heard this repentance shit 1,000,000 times over.
We are quite sorry, to be fair. How did you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
Turn to face the general direction of the whirling and rags and yell, "Damn you, cafeteria manager, you betrayed me for the last time." No, we won't do that. I understand. Okay, Gart told you.
And people on the street helped us too, with your whereabouts.
You're a legend among the drunks, Harry. A legendary local drunk.
Okay then. So you mentioned a task force?
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Yeah, I totally get it. Major Crimes Unit.
He doesn't remember.
See? He really doesn't remember. It wasn't a sick joke. At least that's good.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, we know we know that you are the man in the sunglasses in the whirling and rags. I'm not going to call the horse-faced woman a horse-face. And none of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trent, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, Pell, and so on.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and Why not socioeconomically?
Something so had happened to me. Oh, sorry. Pardon me. Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism.
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what? I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
He gestures towards the scenery.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for its end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
I think I'm ready to lead again. I think we've done a good job.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
Well, what now?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Well, I'll just stand there then.
Yeah. Just stand there. It's cool.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
Oh shit, I completely forgot about this. I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk, let's be honest.
So refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
I got my badge right here. Show it to them.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
Shit, catch it. Okay.
You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground, some 2 meters away. Ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that stupid thing. Damn it.
He found it. He found it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
The man stares at you unimpressed.
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
Oh, go on then. My gun is right here.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
I'm not drunk. I haven't started drinking again.
So you forgot to drink? I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smell bad.
A bit of a week? You let a suspect escape. A certain Ruby. You let her escape because you were too drunk to take her in.
We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Okay. Let's go for... she didn't know anything. It wasn't a big loss to the investigation.
Oh, well. If you think she didn't know anything, I'm not even gonna get into the 80 other suspects you failed to arrest. Or the fact that you're Everclare's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 6 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
Go on, Kim.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
That's it. Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped. Where the hell were you?
Don't make this harder for yourself.
He says in a lowered voice.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He brushes a stray strand of hair out of his eye and coughs.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer. It's just strange, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a true blue moralist, a man of the center, not prone to political outbursts, which is commendable, but also at odds with his behavior. Other still, he is also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know, but he is vocal about both of them. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him anything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped working on the case. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Damn right we did.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
So, sir, as you can see, I'm a pretty okay detective.
Fucking hell. Is this somehow connected to the case?
He ignores you, still staring at the phasmid.
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
Yes, so the phasmid may have contributed to his mental state in some way over the years.
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
His tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
Okay, what else have we done? There was also a dead man on the boardwalk, a missing person I found.
Yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. drunk.
How did you know I found him?
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
That's right. The previous head of the Debardairs Union was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Everard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
Lieutenant lowers his voice just a little.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
I confiscated drugs from Kuno's dad.
Who's Kuno?
You don't want to know.
You're right, Lieutenant. I don't. You snorted the drugs, I know you did. It's alright. I mean, at this point, anything is but the drink.
Yeah, and the killer, Leonakovich Dross, we have a strong motive for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
Revolutionary matronym?
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
What was the motive? It was basically jealousy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
A strange psychosexual fascination. The result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. And trauma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that. Way more.
Okay, what can we say? Let's not be modest this time. It's my masterpiece. They'll teach this in cop school.
Masterpiece? Get over yourself, Harry. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
Nah.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something. It will pass. In time.
Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
It had gathered items in its nest, a helmet and a skirt.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates.
Yeah, but the Insulid phasmid mentioned that it had kids and then ate them, so I still think it was a female.
Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs.
I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis.
As in
What does that
cloning
mean?
itself? What makes you think so?
Observation.
Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior from before the parthenogenetic mutation. Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species. We're probably looking at conservation efforts here.
It had mandibles that looked like hair, and it was completely white on the side.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian phasmid. No, that's too much.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it,
He shakes his head.
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still.
Never mind you suggesting. You told me not to believe in anything you said earlier on.
Quit while you're ahead? Or no?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention about the Doom commercial area. So what do you say? Want to take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude?
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
A quick nod.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
Wait, I have a few questions before we go, about who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who am I?
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
What?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but...
But before?
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
That does explain a lot.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair.
It's a collection of found sportswear I've amassed.
Your love of retro-style dance music. How you're able to perform a 360-degree spin kick.
Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy.
So why did I join the RCM then?
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
Okay, I see now.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
That's right. Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
Was her name Dora?
Yeah. Dora Engelund, I think.
Not Dora Dubois.
So we weren't even married?
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time.
6 years?
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Engelund really tore you a new one. A big one.
Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
No, I mean... Jesus Christ. No, I mean, what did she do?
She was incredibly fuckable. A beautiful bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Welkin. Heartbreak Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
Okay, am I a cop working for the... No, obviously we're not. We're working with these guys. Precinct 41, what kind of station is it?
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed, and everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
He tilts his head northward.
Get back to it. We left Torson and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good.
And the Sea Wing is...
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
Did we? Oh no, we didn't recently shoot up a church, obviously. So I work in the bloody murder station.
Okay. It's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershoal. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
Okay, the Phasmid, I need to tell Lenham about this ASAP.
Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
A cryptozoologist. She lives in Jamrock on Tabernacle Road. She told me about this Phasmid.
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
She looks at Victor Mayer.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasmid. It's their discovery, in part. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
And Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Rivershoal.
He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
You want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of 2 captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I mean investigate. Come work in Precinct 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Would fit in. And crazy enough. Can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
Lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
He returns her smile.
He's really considering it.
Yeah, we're going to be best friends. He's going to join the team. Okay, I'm ready. End.
Good.
She looks at you, then Victor Mayer.
Fuck it, let's go. Trent brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Dawson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmair? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the RCM. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minot? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
And end. Well, boys and girls, that was an emotional roller coaster. But I hope you can all see why, from my perspective, it was certainly one of the best games I've ever played. A lot to unpack there. And I still don't know half the messages in the game. There we go. Help the man into the car. I was hoping I'd have something poignant and meaningful to say at the end of the game, but really, I don't. It's just... It is what it is. What it is just a good story. So there we go. Yes. We'll have to have a think about the next non-Dawn of War game to do a playthrough with. But we'll discuss that in time. If you've got any suggestions, please feel free to write them in the comments. Any games similar to this would be good. But yeah, cool. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, £1 a month, just get your watch your game on the old Patreon. Want to get involved in Discord shenanigans? There are some Discord things in the description as well. And yeah, it's been a journey. My name's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never a chore. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.